Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. The day has finally arrived when the Game of Thrones universe is finally being continued. Well, sort of. Because today, the premiere for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was finally released. And I absolutely freaking loved it. It was it was the nice amount of blend of comedy and a little interesting story, interesting characters, and even though the episode was only 40 minutes long, I absolutely loved it. Even though I have only finished Game of Thrones last year and I still haven't started watching House of the Dragon because of the whiplash that the last season of Game of Thrones caused me, I I was looking forward to this because this is gonna be a very short story. It's most definitely not gonna get more seasons, although who knows? Because the it's based on the short novel of the same name, and it features Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg's adventures. And the series is only gonna have like 6 episodes, if I read correctly. Yeah, it's gonna have 6 episodes. It's gonna have 6 episodes, and honestly, the first one just it felt nice. Okay, I I didn't want to start watching House of the Dragons because of the sour taste Game of Thrones left in my mouth, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to that. However, I advise absolutely everyone to go and watch this series, especially the first episode, because it's much more different than Game of Thrones. So, usually when people talk about Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons, what do people picture? They picture they picture a lot of gore or a lot of fight sequences or very intense story, a maybe dark story, but this one is so much. It's such a breath of fresh air, because it has a lot of jokes. It's obviously. It knows that it's not supposed to be taken seriously. Like, of course, it's supposed to be taken somewhat seriously because, it's a story. However, it knows that it's not such an important tale in the big universe that it really matters. Although it will matter, but we just don't know how yet. Unless you have read the books. I have not read the books, so, but they can still make changes. Anyway, in the very first episode, not a lot of things happen, and the episodes are not gonna be long either, because as I said, it's a 40-minute long episode, and honestly, the only things that happen is we basically just learn who the characters are, which is perfectly fine, it's perfectly enough. We meet Duncan, we meet Egg, then we basically meet some prostitutes, and Lionel Baratheon. Holy shit, he's the Laughing Storm. That's his title. He is such a breath of fresh air again because from the Game of Thrones universe, and especially the Game of Thrones series, what have we learned about the Baratheons? There's Robert, a drunken whoremonger. His brother Stannis, who is one of the not just one of the he is the absolute best general in all of Westeros, and I I honestly forgot the the third one, the gay guy. I don't know. I don't remember his name. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that they are all shown in a way that they have very obvious flaws. They are bitter people. They want to control others, but Lionel is not like that in this series, which I absolutely love because we are finally seeing someone in the Baratheon family who is actually so different to the others that it honestly feels like he's not even a Baratheon. Like, it's obvious that he is one, but he's so friendly, he has a lot of fun with Duncan. Like, hell, they are basically stomping on each other's feet and he is enjoying it. And even after they finish, he isn't like the other two would be like, okay, well, now I'm gonna get your head, like. But that's not happening, okay? That's absolutely not happening. He's just friendly to Duncan, which I absolutely love. And I'm sure I'm really looking forward to what his character is gonna do, by the way, in the series and how he's gonna evolve. But so far, absolutely loving it. Ike's character is also interesting. Interesting in a way in which I'm looking forward to Egg and Sir Duncan's adventures. Like they seem like such an unexpected duo that it just works. It honestly just works. And oh my god, I love Duncan so much. Genuinely, I'm gonna be upfront with everyone about this. His character is so goofy in the first episode already, yet you can tell that he is so self-conscious because there is a scene before he goes to dance with Lionel Baratheon. He doesn't want to dance. Okay, Duncan is like basically not afraid, but he's self-conscious. Okay, but then he sees that okay, well, it could be fun, and then he just straight up goes out like the big 2 meter tall goofball that he is. Honestly, I can't tell if it's I can't tell because it's only the first episode if the casting was this well done that it just fits the character so much, or also because the actors are so good. Obviously, so far in my opinion, it's both. But as I said, not a lot of things happen in the first episode, but please go watch it because I honestly found it very fun. There were some interesting jokes, like there are some cutaway jokes which kind of show us that yeah, the whole tone of this series is not gonna be like Game of Thrones whatsoever. Like there is not gonna be some big cliffhanger at the end of the season or something big happening, like somebody killing someone. Yeah, that's most definitely not happening in the gruesome way. So yeah, it's honestly a fun little watch. That's what it's gonna be. I'm sure of it. There's one joke that I wanna point out. In the very first opening sequence, we see Duncan bury his master, and right after he finishes, the storm goes away because it's raining. And at one point, the original Game of Thrones theme starts playing. Like, that shit is enough to make the hair on my back stand up. And then the whole thing just gets cut in half because it just cuts to a scene where Duncan is shitting behind the tree. And not just being crouched down or something. No, he's shitting like a fucking horse. Which is such an interesting thing to say, because I did not expect that whatsoever. Also, I didn't expect to see Duncan naked in the. I mean, I don't even know why I'm calling him Duncan because his original name is Dunk, but he chooses to be named Duncan after Egg asked him what his full name is. Whatever. It's still funny. Also, I know about one detail in the books. They kept the detail that he was actually never officially knighted by his master because he just didn't do it. But Dunk was convinced that his master was gonna do it eventually. There's even a cutaway where they're just riding on a horses, and Dunk asks his master if whether or not he's gonna be knighted soon, and his master just I forgot his name. Okay, I forgot his name. And his master is just eating an orange or something, just bites into it and just spits it out. Like, and that's the whole scene. He doesn't even give an answer to Dunk. That was also funny. Anyway, first episode review. That's basically all I can say about it. Honestly, go watch it. I'm sure that it's gonna be a much more enjoyable watch than Game of Thrones last season was. Again, if you are gonna go ahead and watch the first episode, please don't try to consider this as a Game of Thrones type of series, because the only thing Game of Thrones about it is that it takes place in Westeros and the names of the characters. That's it. Also, I think there was a Targaryen in the first tavern that we see, because there was a coin with dragons on it, so it had to be a Targaryen. But I'm sure we will find out about that in the later episodes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more things about me, click on my channel, watch some of my playlists, or go ahead and jack off and then sleep. Do whatever you want. I'm not your master. You're not knighted. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye.